Here's a variation from the Arnold. We're going to play it from the Don't Pass. Welcome back, subscribers. Welcome to my new viewers. Let's go ahead and learn this game of craps together. Hey everyone, it's Mike. Thanks for joining my channel. So I just finished a strategy where I rolled the Arnold using a pass line bet and a don't come bet and then continuous come bets. That's the basic strategy for the Arnold. I want to show another variation of the Arnold that Waylon's way showed, where we actually are going to start with the don't pass bet, then the don't come bet, and then the come bet. Continuous come bets. Now, because I'm going to use 4x on my don't pass and on my don't come, I'm going to need a little bigger bankroll. And I think I will use the $1,500 bankroll with my turbo mode on. And let me explain how this works. So when the puck is off, I'm going to put a 4x. Remember, my denomination here is 25. So 4x would be 100 in the don't pass. This is before I establish a point. So let's go ahead and roll. Okay, the point's a 5. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do another 4x in the DC, just like we did on the original Arnold. Okay? Now, this used to be my vulnerability point. When I had a pass line bet and a DC bet, a 7x, a 7 out would lose those. Here, a 7 out, I would win my don't pass against the 5. I would win that. I would lose the DC. So now my vulnerability point is a wash. I hope that makes sense. I win 100 because I rolled a 7 before the 5, but I lose 100 because the DC loses on 7-11. That's a wash. On the original Arnold, this would have been a $25 pass line bet. 7 out would have lost the pass line and the DC. I would have lost 125. So I think what Waylon was doing here was he was trying to minimize that vulnerability on the 7 out right after the point 7 out. Okay, so let's go ahead and roll. There's a 6. Now my DC moves behind the 6, and now I just play continuous 1x $25 come bets. There's the 5. That's the point. Okay, my come bet moves to the 5. I lose $100 on the don't pass because I rolled the 5 before the 7. And the way Waylon explains this is we're not going to chase. We're not going to chase when we lose our $100 don't pass or our $100 don't come. And the reason we don't want to chase it is because we still have another $100 behind the 6 to cover these come bets. I'm just going to go ahead and put another come bet out. Oh, I guess I need a point first. Let's get a point. Okay, the point's a 9. Now I'm just going to start putting out continuous come bets because those are covered by this $100 behind the 6. So what's my vulnerability on this strategy? If I lose my don't pass line bet and then I lose my don't come bet, that's my vulnerability. If I lose both of those before a 7 comes out, that's my vulnerability. So I need either my come bets to move up to these numbers and start getting paid, or I need a 7 out so that I can get my DC behind the 6 to get paid. Let's go ahead and roll. Okay, there's an 8. This come bet moves to the 8. I'm going to continually play $25, 1x in the come. There's an 8. This comes down, gets paid. This come bet moves up. So you heard me say it on my last video. This is a off and back on, down and back up, whatever you want to call it. and I get paid $25. There's a 5. Off and back on, down and back up. Did you see the chip disappeared for a second because it came down and got paid? Then the $25 in the come moved to the 5, and then the chip reappeared. So that's off and back on. I get paid $25. Let's roll. Okay, there's my 7 out. So remember, even though I lost my don't pass, I was still covered on my DC bet behind the 6. So I win on a 7 on the come. It gets offset by one of my bets on the 5 or the 8. So let's say the 8 gets offset. Then my $100 win behind the 6, I lose 25 of that on the other come bet on the 5, and I end up with a $75 win. Okay? Now, all my bets are off. The puck is off. I'm going to restart another game. 100 in the don't pass. 7-11 lose on the don't pass. I have to replenish that. The only time I don't chase is when I have both of them up. I believe that's the way Waylon said it. Once I have a don't pass established and a don't come established, if I hit one of those, I don't replenish it. But I am going to go ahead and replenish it here, I think. If that's not right, let me know in the comments. Okay, there's a 6. The puck moves to the 6. I now have a don't pass on the 6. So if a 6 rolls, I lose. If a 7 rolls, I win. I'm now going to put 4x in the DC. And I hit the 6, so I lose the don't pass. The DC moves behind the 6. I am not going to chase unless I'm the shooter where I have to put a bet on. Well, I'm going to go ahead and replenish it. I'm the shooter. I'm going to say I'm the shooter, so I think I have to replenish it. So let's go ahead and roll. Okay, there's an 8. So now I have 2 don't bets. I have a don't pass on the 8. I have a don't come behind the 6. I'm going to now play continuous come bets for 1x or $25. Okay, there's an 8. Okay, that was my point. So I think in Waylon's video, he was not the shooter because I don't think he chased this. So I'm just going to leave that alone. And there's the 7. 7 out. I win the DC bet. It gets offset by $25. So I end up with winning 75. So let's assume I'm not the shooter. So if I do lose my don't pass bet, I can continue the game because someone else would be rolling. Okay? Someone else would be shooting the dice. Let's try it that way. Okay, $100 don't pass. Let's get a point. Point's an 8. Puck moves behind the 8. Another $100 in the DC. There's a 5. I now have 2 $100 bets that win on a 7. I start playing my come bets. And there's an 8. I keep hitting one of my don'ts. So that was the point. I'm going to assume I am not the shooter. I am not going to chase this. So someone else is going to shoot. There's the 8. The puck moves to the 8. The come bet that was on the 8 comes down and gets paid. I'm going to replenish my come. I still have a DC bet behind the 5. There's a 6. This come bet will move to the 6. I will replenish that bet. And there's the 7 out. These 2 bets offset. The come bet wins 25. The bet on the 6 lose on a 7 out. And the DC bet behind the 5 wins $100. Okay. Let's roll it one more time. I'm at roll 20. We're still digging our way out of the hole here. $100 on the don't pass. Let's get a point. Point's an 8. $100 on the don't come. That moves behind the 4. So now I have my two don't bets out there. $25 come bet moves to the 5. Let's go ahead and replenish that bet. Moves. Oh, that's down and back up. Okay, I just rolled back-to-back 5s. The bet on the 5 comes down and gets paid. The come bet moves to the 5, and I still have a bet in the come, and I collect $25. Let's roll. There's a 3. 2 and a 3. They lose on the come. Let's replenish that. There's an 11. 7, 11 win. So there, I gave it away. I took it right back. There's the 8. That's the point. Okay. The come bet moved to the 8. The puck moves off. The puck is off because we hit the point. Because we hit the point, we lose or don't pass. I'm assuming I'm not the roller. I'm going to go ahead and let the roller continue. He rolls an 11. He rolls a 6. Now the puck moves to the 6. I'm just going to continue with my come bets. I'm not going to worry about this don't pass because I still have $100 in the don't come bet behind the 4 to cover these come bets. There's a 9. That come bet goes to the 9. I replenish my come bet. There's a 6. That's the point. The puck goes off. My come bet moves to the 6. I'm not the shooter. We're going to let someone else shoot. There's the 8. I'm sorry, there's the 9. My $25 come bet on the 9 comes down and gets paid. And I'm going to replenish it. There's the 6. That's down and back up. I win $25. There's a 12. I lose the come bet. I have to replenish that. There's a 5. That comes down, back up, gets paid. There's an 8. That comes down, goes back up, gets paid. Another 8 comes down, goes back up, gets paid. A 6. That come bet comes down and gets paid. This $25 come bet moves to the 6. Down and back up, off and back on. And there's our 4. There's our DC bet. We lose $100 on the 4. Our come bet moves to the 4. So I've lost my pass. I've lost my don't pass bet. I've lost my don't come bet. Waylon says don't chase them. So I have nothing that's protecting these come bets. But I'm going to assume we're not going to chase. We're just going to leave the don't bets alone. Let's go ahead and put 25 in the come. There's an 11 that wins. I don't feel real comfortable here because a 7 would lose everything. Except for this come. There's an 8, down and back up. I'm not sure if Waylon would put 100 in DC to protect these bets or not. He says don't chase it. There's a 5, down and back up. I'm going to put it in there because I got to have something out there to protect these bets. I'll have to go through the comments to see if anyone else actually encountered losing their don't pass and their don't come while the roll was still in progress. Okay, so I just rolled a 5. My DC moves behind the 5. I have a come bet on the 5, and it's a contract bet. I can't take it down. That's the first I've seen that, so that's interesting. We'll see how that plays out. We still have 25 in the come. There's a 6. That's down and back up. There's the 5. Let's see how that looks now. So on my come bet, my $25 bet comes down and gets paid. I lose the 100, but I gained 25, so I end up losing 75, and then I believe my come bet moved over to the 5. Let's see if I have a come bet on the 5. I do. Okay. And I've lost my don't come again. I guess I'm not going to chase. There's a 9. That's the point. My come bet moves to the 9. I need to establish a point, but I don't have a pass line. Someone else is rolling. So let's go ahead and roll. There's a 6. That comes down and gets paid. The puck moves to the 6. I'm going to put 25 in the come. There's a 9. It comes down and goes back up. Comes down and gets paid. This come bet moves up to the 9. And there's the 8. So there's 50 rolls. I did dig a little bit out of the hole. I'm down 100, but I still have $125 in bets. So these are contract bets. I can't take them down. But I think that explains how we play the Arnold using a don't pass, 4x, don't pass, 4x, don't come, 1x, come bets. Okay? I hope that explains a little bit about how to play the Arnold with a different variation. So anyway, that's our strategy for today. That's our video. It's the Arnold by Waylon's Way, but it's playing from the don't pass and the don't come. So I hope everyone's having a good day. As usual, thanks for watching.